Hobbit movies aren't bad. Hobbit movies aren't okay. Hobbit movies are good. Yes, I said that. In this video I'm going to tell you what people think that are wrong with the movies, and I'll tell you my opinion. I'm not gonna be like a kid in a kindergarten that says, no, you are wrong and I'm right. No, you are wrong. You are wrong. My opinion is only right. I'm not gonna do that because we are gonna look at it from the critical perspective. The first problem that they have with the movies are that they are too long. Almost 9 hours together. And take into consider that the Hobbit book is only this big. This is the Hobbit book. And these rest of the ones are the Lord of the Rings. And think one of the Lord of the Rings books has twice as many words as the Hobbit. But still Hobbit has got 3 movies and each book 1 movie. So why are they so long? Because Peter Jackson didn't have the time to prepare himself and the script. So he took longer lunch breaks to just think what to do. He was depressed, he didn't have the time, everyone rushed him, and one reason why they didn't turn out like this is because the Warner Brothers rushed them. And we know Peter Jackson did his best, and even Andy Serkis helped him because he knew how hard it is for Peter Jackson to do this because of the Warner Brothers. And they are mad that there are so many unnecessary things and things that don't exist, like Alfred that they made up, Tauriel that falls in love with Keely, Legolas and Ozog. We'll come back to the Alfred, but let's start with Tauriel. Why was she there? Do you understand that when Tolkien wrote The Hobbit, there were no female characters? Not at all. Not even Galadriel was in there. So they had a Galadriel too. So do you really want a movie in 2012 where there are no female characters in it? Of course not. So this is the reason, and it's great. It adds more plot and adds more story, so it isn't like a kids movie. And why was Legolas there? Because they went through Mirkwood. And who lives in Mirkwood? Thranduil. And Thranduil is Legolas' father, and of course they're trying to find a way to put Legolas in the movies because Lord of the Rings fans love him. He's such a good character. And before you start hating the Hobbit movies, think that the Hobbit was written first, and Tolkien didn't have the story written so well so he could connect the dots, Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. He later added details from the Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings, but now we're doing the opposite. We're adding things from Lord of the Rings to the Hobbit because Hobbit was made after the Lord of the Rings movies, but the opposite with books. So I think this is a great thing. And Ozog the Orc. I know if you have not read the books, you know that Ozog isn't in the Hobbit. He died before the events of the Hobbit, but they need a plot, and Ozog had something to do with Thorin, because Ozog was the one who killed his grandfather, Thror. I know it's a big thing that they bring someone that is dead to the movies, but I can accept that. For the plot, why not? The next problem that they have is that it's not realistic. Well, okay, I can agree with this scene. I can't defend this. I don't know why they put it in there. Actually, it makes a bit sense because Legolas and the elves are so light that they can walk on snow. And you also saw it in Lord of the Rings, that when the others are marching through the snow, Legolas is just walking on top of the snow. So it makes a little bit of sense that he's light, so light that he can walk on falling rocks. Still doesn't make sense, but okay. The barrel scene. This is just cinematic, it's just for the plot. Actually, the book is made for the kids. Why are you expecting book made for kids to be realistic? From one side they are screaming that it's too Lord of the Rings like. They're using music and the other things from Lord of the Rings, like the dragon sickness that indicates the creed for the ring, and the music that they use from one place and put it into another, and they're trying to make Thorin look like Aragorn. Well, I understand it because they're trying to make it similar, so you can watch The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings in a row as a marathon. But if they made it like the book, so it would be like a Disney movie, because it's made for children. They would be singing and there will be unrealistic scenes all over the place. Which one do you want? Do you want the book version or the Lord of the Rings version? Because it's supposed to look more like Lord of the Rings, not a kids movie, or else it would be 2 separate movies. One that feels like the book and the other that feels like Lord of the Rings. Me personally, I want to watch them in a row so I can feel it's the same world. So I see nothing wrong with this. It's not a Disney movie, it's based on Lord of the Rings more. Okay, I understand the Thors might not look like the Thors. So Keely with a short beard looks like a man, Thorin looks like a Aragorn version 2 with longer hair, and they're mad about the plot telling, that it takes too long. It's 15 minutes long. At the start of the movie they're explaining all the things that happened in Erebor before the events of the Hobbit. Why are you mad? They're saying that it's too Lord of the Rings like. They're trying to explain the story, telling you what is going on. They're showing the Erebor, they're showing what happened. And if Tolkien describes one tree almost 2-3 pages. So why can't they? They're showing the kingdom before Slog took over it. They're showing all the richness, the mines, and Dale, kings, their relations with the elves, and why they don't get along anymore. Their greed for gold. That Tolkien actually explains that at the end of the Third Age and at the start of the Fourth Age, they dug too deep and too greedy and they just disappear. So dwarves are greedy, and this is why the rings didn't affect them that much, because they preferred their treasures. And everything else you can see in the halls of Erebor. Isn't it great? It looks fantastic. The next one. I can agree with the green screen thing. I don't like it when they use green screen, CGI, computers and everything. I like practical effects that they did before, but I also understand that Warner Brothers didn't give them these resources that they had before, so they had to use CGI. And they're mad about the Battle of Five Armies. They had to put something in there so it fills the void, and it isn't much shorter than the other movies. Okay, it is a bit pointless, but it's still fun to watch and see how dragon sickness takes over Thorin. I know that it's not in the books, but it's still fun to see. It's fun detail, and all that character development and how it shows that it's becoming more greedy, and you can see it at the secret entrance how he already acts, and when they get inside he asks, did you get it, did you get it, and more, and you can hear how he phrases his sentences and words about the gold. It's just great. And the scenes with Alfred in the lake town, these are unnecessary, not in the books, but it's great to see the lake town and what's happening in there, and the corruption, about Bart's family and his personal life, and actually many great details. You can see it. Also you can see the Dale and Erebor, the great halls. Also try to understand that it's trying to mix a children's book to a more adventure fantasy battle kind of movie, and I understand it's not realistic. They don't die. They were in too many situations where they could have died, but they didn't. But it's still a kid's book, and it's a fiction. They're trying to merge a kid's book into the story that is about battles, death, blood, killing, greed, but also songs, kindness, brotherhood. I can kind of understand the Tol Kultur part. That kind of coaster finds train that actually happened before the events of the Hobbit in the books, but it's still an event that happened. But the thing that didn't happen was the encounter of Necromancer. But they needed for a plot, it made sense a little bit because Sauron was there till Gandalf beat him out of there, and he came back when he was stronger, and he didn't get captured in a birdcage. But for the plot and for the story that they wanted to tell, it was still something, and it was awesome to see the battle and Tol Kultur in a form like this. At the end of the day, just sit down, shut up, watch them. We're not gonna get another Hobbit movies, so just enjoy them. Take the best out of the movies that you can. There's not gonna be another one. There's gonna be another Lord of the Rings themed movie, that is The Hunt for Gollum, that is coming. But it's not another Hobbit movie. That's all, and I'll see you in the next one.